Well, it's late in the afternoon, and I was getting ready to fly. This is the Hubsan. This is the H502C, and I just want to test it and for durability and see how well it will perform. First thing I'm doing is I'm flying in an easterly direction. We had a rainstorm about 2 or 3 hours earlier today, and the wind has settled down just a little bit now, so I'm going to try to fly it. When it just moved in, that was the wind, a little gust of wind caught it. This drone does not have stabilization, so it is very shaky. Makes a good quality picture, but you can't hold it still. Right along in here, I decided that it was a little too windy down there, so I wanted to turn around and start back. On this video, I'm not going to edit the video at all. I'm going to give you the full video. It's approximately 7.5 minutes long or a little more. And the reason I'm going to show you the full video is toward the end, I take it up very high, and I actually lose visual contact with the drone. And for about 2 minutes, I think that I've completely lost it. Then all of a sudden, when the drone battery gets low enough, it will return on its own. And thankfully, this one did return on its own, even though I had lost visual contact. So when I get to that point of the video, I'll come back in here and show you or tell you what's going on and explain it to you just a little bit better in that particular part. Here I've went across the street. I'm over there in above a couple of my neighbors' houses. If you hear the dogs barking in the background, try to get them to be quiet, but they tend to want to bark a little bit. The black dots you see up there on top of the screen, that's the sun late in the evening on the west. It's a little bit hard to fly in that direction because of the bright sun. At this point here, I hit the return to home button, and you notice it tilted down and it started coming back to me. And when it gets over there directly above me, that's when I take it off of the return to home mode and I decide to go up with it. And okay, I took it off the return to home mode and I turned it around. Now I've turned it to where it's facing to the south, and I'm starting to go up. It's approximately 100 feet right there, maybe 125 feet, still going up. I believe when it gets on up here, it's going to be approximately pretty close to 250 feet in altitude. And the drone, the screen does not give you an actual readout of how high it is, but that's just a good estimate. I do have visual contact with it at this point. It's basically over my house, straight up about 250 feet. And I'm fixing to make a 360-degree rotation here in just a few seconds. Okay, here goes. This is a 360 rotation. You can see all the rolling mountains here where we live in the North Georgia mountains. Okay, now it's pointed back to the south. And right along in here, you seen it tilt down then? That was when I hit the return to home button, and I accidentally hit the forward button at the same time. When you hit the forward button in the return to home mode, it takes it out of the return to home mode. And so I'm thinking that it's coming home to me, but in reality, it flew forward for maybe about 50 feet, and it's just sitting there right now doing nothing. Just sitting there hovering at about 250 feet high. And this is when I take my eyes off of it. Actually took my eyes off as soon as I pressed the return to home button. So when I looked back up to see if it was coming down, I couldn't see it anywhere. And I basically had lost complete visual contact of it and did not know where it was at. So I kept waiting, because usually it don't take it but just about a minute to get back home. And so somewhere along about this point right here, in my mind, I've already determined that I've completely lost it. I did not know where the drone had went to. I couldn't see it, had no idea what was going on. And as I looked at my screen, I seen it flashing like it was in the return to home mode, but I had actually interrupted that, so it was just sitting there hovering. When it just made that left right there, that is when the battery got low enough that it kicked into the return to home because of low battery. So you should see it start to go down here in a few seconds. You'll see it starting to descend. Now this is the first time I've ever ran it till the battery went completely dead, and I had already looked at my battery on the screen and I seen that I only had 1 bar, and then it disappeared. So I knew that the drone, in my mind, I thought it was gone. I'd never see it again. And when the drone reaches about maybe 80 to 100 foot from the ground, all of a sudden I heard it. And when I heard it, I looked up and seen it, that it was directly over the house. And I guess because the battery was so low, it didn't have the control that it normally would have. And so I took over to bring it on down and land it real quick. And you'll see me start to bring it down here. And it loses a lot of control when the battery gets that low. And you'll see how jumpy it is here in just a second. And of course I hit the button to end the video before it ever landed. But at least I know that the return to home function does work. When the battery gets too weak, it will start to come back to you on its own. So that's a good thing to know. Thanks for watching this video. We appreciate it.